How are you all doing right now? Is it beginning to hurt a little bit? Feel revolution on the rise? I know I had been telling people for years that this was going to come, even before I understood the astrology behind it. And I knew many people would not rise up and fight unless it hurt enough. They would see that consumerism isn't the way, that destroying this earth for profit is not the way. And it's not that most people are innately evil, as much as most all things in life, even in nature, take the path of least resistance. The problem is that, because that's what energy does, and the problem is that the rulers at this current time go against nature. They go against the path of least resistance. They are constantly fighting and scraping and striving to contain more power, have more control, to devour all of us and our energy. And because they go against nature, and most humans innately, subconsciously go in the natural path of least resistance, we've landed here. And many of us have chosen to come here in this lifetime for this very occasion. We have to wake humans back up. It's not new. Ancient cultures were able to do this. Our job to nurture this place, to be fully aware and awake. The Matrix everyone's talking about right now on social media, they're waking up and saying, I'm in a Matrix. This can't be real. It's the reality that's created by these dark entities, by these dark ruling class that make you feel that way. Too many people don't get outside enough. I suppose I'll read some of what I wrote earlier when I was thinking about all of this, and then I'll get into some conversation. Is it beginning to hurt? That is a big question I have for people. Now that it's hurting, are you going to want change? I have been pushing for change for so long, and so many aspects, our very foundations are so corrupt, so... And also, I know I mentioned before too, that revolution is looming. It's on the horizon. You can feel it like a haze in the clouds. Seems like the ruling class want us to riot, to rebel. They're trying so hard to get people to become reactionary as an excuse to assert more authority. But they know they don't even have the manpower or the skills or the patience to do so. So they're probably just going to land in their own trap. But the most important lesson we can all learn right here is that your mother is calling you home. Can you hear her? Do you hear her? Go outside. Look at the trees. Look at nature. If you're not around nature, get out and go find a place where there is nature. And let her speak to you. She doesn't have to speak in words. It's an energy. What is she saying right now? You know, when I go outside, where I live, it's fall time. Temperatures are finally dropping. It's been so hot. It's very wet and drippy right now. I go out there and I look up at the trees, and she says, rest. It's time to rest. The time for striving is over. The time for putting in effort is over. This is the season where you eat from your work, the harvest of your work. What have you laid up and stored up for winter? Now is the time to be cozy, to curl up with your family, to be at one with those you love, and to enjoy this season of rest. Most of the trees and things are going to sleep and going dormant for the rest of the year. Now, the reason why people feel like they're in a matrix is because they're not listening to their mother. They're in this fake reality. They're in their phones, they're in their devices. If you're listening to me, you're in one right now. And while it's great for learning, you need to limit that. You need to get out more and be with your mother. I know the patriarchal world has condemned her, damned her, told you not to listen to her. But she is calling you. She is the one that Christ spoke of in the great marriage. The Heavenly Father, the Creator, marrying the beautiful earth, the physical realm and the spirit realm dancing in harmony right now. And you miss it. He said everyone would be too busy when the wedding came. Too busy harvesting, or too busy working, or too busy going here and there and having meetings and everything. They would miss the great wedding. And it's happening every second of every day. People are too busy to enjoy what's happening. This beautiful harmony. The Matrix is created by entities that have disconnected from their Creator. And so they have to feed off of us. Let's see. Yes, okay. I'm sorry I got off on a tangent saying that, and I haven't even read much of what I wrote, so bear with me. You feel like you're in a matrix? It is because you were groomed your entire life to willingly give your power away. Let others dictate what's morally correct, and bend over for the ruling class as a good little Christian, or fill in the blank, whatever. Sam. Sorry, my puppy. Hold on.
You need to go get her. Go get her, Sam.
Oh, sweet dog. I love her so much. Okay. Oh, good Lord. I hope you don't hear too much barking in the background. Oh, no. Oh, no. I want to push pause. It's going to be the Psycho Husky Doghouse scene. Oh, no. Okay. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, let's see where I was at. Yes. Be a good little Christian, or be a good little, whatever it was you were raised to be. Somehow, we've been taught, if you're good, submit to authority, submit to the higher powers, be good, bend over backwards, right? You were kept so busy and burdened, you have disconnected from your energy source and your mother. Creator is in you. It's how you live and give off energy, but to truly live, you must learn to take. The ruling class has zero problem taking. They think they deserve it. Law of attraction isn't about positivity or believing you deserve anything so much as you refusing anything less. Law of assumption is rather good for the nervous system. For those who don't like the law of attraction, I'm not big on either one entirely. I think we should make room for letting other things show us what's best for us, but it does serve a purpose. The ruling class has no problem whatsoever. Take. I want, me, I deserve. We've been so groomed that that's selfish, yet the ruling class feels they deserve it. So what happens? Oh, yes, okay, here you go, I'll give you everything. I'm good, I don't need anything, it's all right. We sacrifice ourselves to death, don't we? Okay, but you must learn that you have just as much authority as the beings around you. And I'm not just saying people, I'm saying entities, angels, anything, any spiritual force in the entire universe has no more authority than you do over your own life. I'm talking women, men, all of us. We have autonomy. We have authority over our life. If you assert control in an egoic, reactionary state, for example, the way a suppressed, angry man, he comes home from work and he hates life, and so he takes everything out on his wife or his kids. I don't mean like that, because that will backfire. You will damn yourself being that kind of person. But I mean take with awareness. Say no with awareness. Say no to the rulers of this age. Disconnect from the artificial life. Plastic gardens and fields of consumer aisles of Walmart. Go reconnect with your mother. She is calling you home. Go into nature as often as possible. Learn to be human again. The Matrix isn't the 3D. The entire universe is composed of beings that long to feed off of you and control you in every dimension. Leaving the physical will not save you. You will face this battle for eons until you learn to take authority of your own being. The kingdom is within. Being stuck in your head is a coping mechanism for those who are traumatized by the pain of enslavement and imprisonment. When you venture outdoors, can you name every tree, insect, or plant? The cultures that could were happy and fully lived. If you go outside, can you even listen to your mother? Do you even recognize the things around you? Or are you still stuck in your head the way you do when you're traumatized? And you always are within, and you're just letting your own thoughts dictate how you feel. And so many people say, oh, I don't live by my emotions. I was taught by my parents, don't live by your emotions. But it's your thoughts that dictate how you feel. Though this life is fleeting and plants may die in the fall, your connection to all life around you is outside of time. It is a marriage, an agreement. We all said yes to being here, and yet so few say yes to nurturing this earth, to healing her, to loving her and cherishing her. When you fail to uphold your agreement, misery sets in. We have forgotten who we are and what we came here to do, to honor Mother Earth and her marriage to Father Creator. We must relearn what it means to be human. Walk the marriage out in your everyday life and strive to be the wise elder who one day can teach our children the right way, the right songs to walk a path of truth and courage, honor and awareness, genuine enlightenment. The ruling class will pass away. They divorce themselves from any sacred agreement and are altogether evil. Civilizations rise and fall because they forget. Do not forget. Technology, war, crime, disaster, famine, plague will come and go, wax and wane. It is transitory, but those of us who uphold the sacred agreements are forever. No true death. Those who disconnect, lose power, die out eternally. Once we stop letting them feed off of our energy. And I also wanted to put in here a process of healing is not just like, say, eating healthy. Regulating the nervous system is vital, but part of reconnecting to your mother is is so weird because, for those of you who don't know, I have autoimmune issues and things because I've gone through a lot, as most of us have. And it's not just trying to be healthy, it's the act of being present with your mother that is so healing. Like just going in there earlier and rinsing some black beans and some chickpeas in the water and my hands running through them. And, my conscious mind, my logical mind isn't aware of this, but I walked away and I felt so much better. And I remembered the healthiest time in my life. I had dedicated so much time to healing myself, and in the process I had to prepare a lot of my food and chop everything fresh, and it was the act of constantly preparing my food, and I realized that it wasn't just the eating the healthy food, it was the touching it, it was the smelling it, it was the interacting with these things, these living things, the little seeds, the little beans, the greens, they are all living things. And when it's a mother, okay, she generously gives her life for us every day, and it's also like the Father Creator, like when Christ said, drink this wine and think of me, and the bread is like my flesh. People argue over it being a blood cult and stuff, but he was an animist. There's no way around it. So am I, and he was trying to teach all of us that the Heavenly Father is in everything that you eat, everything that you touch, but it manifests in physical form through the mother, and that is the marriage. It's so beautiful. And so when you touch these physical things, you touch these beings, you touch the plants and things, it's like her energy is in it, and she's giving you energy, and she's saying, here, take this. And I walked away from those, and I was like, why do I suddenly feel so much better? And anytime you reconnect with your mother, like when people go out barefoot and they do grounding and whatnot, you feel so much better. See, these things that have tried to harm us have disconnected us. They taught us how to completely disconnect from our mother so that we can't recharge our batteries. Okay? if you look into shamanism, there's a really great podcast, like a Woven Energy podcast, and he goes into things like chillicity as some of the most basic concepts of shamanism. And it's nothing like what you see with most of these neo-shamans that think shamanism is going and doing a bunch of psychedelic drugs and drumming with a bunch of other, hippies that are basically having orgies and conjuring spirits with the weird sounds and everything. Like, these people, the privilege is oozing and dripping off of them, where they have no connection to nature, and they're playing with dimensions and things they do not understand, and they're harming themselves, and they're also harming the word shamanism. But genuine shamanism, you should probably be more so in isolation. You don't get it around a bunch of people, okay? You get it through nature. And when you're out there with nature alone, and you're like a chalice, like the Holy Grail, and you allow yourself to be filled with the living water, but also with nature. She teaches you things. Mother Earth has more energy than you can ever imagine, and she is always willing and ready to give it to us. The problem is we don't know how to take it. We've literally walled ourselves off from taking her energy because we've been taught to. We've been taught that we don't have the right or access to that we don't deserve it. I mean, on a subconscious level, okay? So that's the reason why just touching beans or just going out barefoot feels so good. Because even though we've been taught not to take, it's like our body is taking it anyway in those moments. But look at how everything around us is fake. We got the plastic gardens, like I have to work in retail right now, and I'll walk down these plastic aisles and everything's in pretty plastic packages, and it is crazy because, like, all I want to do is be gardening, be working out in my garden and be with nature. But our ruling class has manufactured a world where we're not allowed to. It's actually criminalized. I know I'd heard someone say, like, oh, you got to help yourself. We can't help those who won't help themselves, referring to those who are on food stamps and whatnot. And it's like, if we help ourselves, we're criminalized, All I want to do is stay in my home and garden and prepare my own food and collect wild medicinals and things, but we're not allowed to do that. We have to constantly pay property taxes, and our mortgages have so much interest and things tacked onto it. It takes forever to pay it, and we have credit scores. If our credit isn't good enough to be able to get a HELOC or get a this or that, then, well, maybe, just maybe, you're out of luck, right? And then we have to pay so many other things. We have to pay for water. We have to pay for necessities that we shouldn't have to pay for, and we're forced into this. And you can't just go live in the woods. Like, if we could, that's what we need to do. Actually, I think this revolution is going to bring that about, where more and more people are going to fight. Like, obviously, our ruling class is trying to start riots and whatnot by making it impossible to afford food or health care, and then taking it away on top of that right before the holidays, which is odd how they want to self-implode. It's like they're masochists, right? But it's good, because consumerism needs to fade out. Like, it's not good that any of us are suffering or going hungry, don't get me wrong, but we need to work together. We have been taught to isolate ourselves, to hate each other, to fight amongst each other, and so we don't even have communities like we should. I mean, it should be standard for us to all have community gardens. And I'm sorry, but, I'm not speaking as a socialist, but I'm saying food, water, shelter, basic necessities should never cost a dime. Money is a manufactured thing. So are taxes. These are basic necessities that, living in nature as human beings, we're supposed to just take and build it ourselves. But we have succumbed to the virus of greed and consumerism, and we've allowed these evil dictators who have zero connection to nature to brainwash us into being little worker bees. And I don't know if I don't study like insects as much as my daughter, but she goes on about some of these things and how, certain like worker bees and stuff and males will literally be thrown out in winter to save the hive, and they're disposable, okay? And that's pretty much what they're doing to us. We're disposable to them. And that's not what we came here for. We're here to be human. And we have to learn to be human again. We have to learn how to nourish each other and the earth again. And she will spit us out. She will. She's not going to tolerate this forever. But I think many of us came here knowing that we were meant to make this change, to make this shift. We long for it. We're excited for it. But also, it is strange because, there's a toxic positivity level where you ignore the suffering of others. And I say this as someone that doesn't even have the money to pay my own mortgage and whatnot next month. Like, I'm not saying this as someone who doesn't have, like, poverty, okay? But what I'm saying is, and I'm saying at this time, so I don't want to, like, speak anything bad on myself either. But what I'm saying is, like, every day is a gift, truly. But we have to learn how to demand more, okay? We really do. And I don't know, some people are saying they put all this money in Argentina so they can run and hide there when everyone riots and whatnot. But what really is the point, do you think, for them to behave this way? To go so crazy. Maybe they have some form of syphilis, right? That we don't know about. Some new form of syphilis disease that the ruling class get, where they've gone so mad that they want us to riot so they can create martial law, but yet they don't have the manpower to do it. Like, they're not really investing enough in the manpower to have a government to begin with. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay. I don't know. It's silly. I mean, I guess I shouldn't laugh because, look at what the Nazis did, and it's really approaching that kind of energy. And, but I guess I can't believe how crazy evil is. It's just so, that is what feels like the Matrix. That is what makes you feel like you're watching a movie, because you're like, these people are insane. Like, what do you call it? What's that word? I'm trying to find it. Because I've actually done this a lot from trauma, like where you like separate yourself. It's like you disassociate, yeah. Like, I've had moments when I'm so traumatized and I really, really need to be getting up off my ass or working or something. But I was so traumatized that you just find yourself staring at the walls because you're in so much shock. And that's your nervous system trying to heal. And so, like, I feel like so many American people and people around the globe are kind of in that state right now. Like, they're actually going through trauma because they cannot believe what's happening. Because they've been taught their whole life that if you're a good person and you obey the laws, and you're a good little consumer worker bee, that everything will be okay. And I came here knowing that was bullshit, like, my whole life. And anytime I challenged that, my parents would say I was a problem. And I'm not talking being ugly to my parents. I mean, genuinely, like, I would ask them very valid questions, like, well, in the Bible, King David got in trouble when he didn't go fight with his men, so why do our presidents not go fight with our men? And, they went into the spiel of why. They always have an excuse for why. And I'm like, yes, but if you're not fighting with your men, you're willing to put them in situations that are not okay. Like, you're willing to take bigger risks if you're not putting your own life at risk. And that's what happens with our leaders today. They're cowards. They're not going to go fight. But they're going to put our men and women in harm's way, right? And there's other questions I had, like in the Bible, when everyone wanted, like, a king. And the creator was like, yeah, no. And don't get me wrong, I know all the stories about the whole, Yahweh's supposed to be a desert trickster god and blah, blah, blah. But these people that say all these things are so obsessed with logic. And they've actually been duped. Like, the people who were obsessed with, like, Enki and Enlil and the Sumerians and Anunnaki, they've been very, very duped into also living from the outside in. Which is what these entities do. The same ones ruling this planet, they live from the outside in. The same ones that have kind of hijacked heaven, like fallen angels, they live from the outside in. And so, like, what these people are doing is they're observing all this stuff and they're reading all of this stuff, half of which is made up by, like, Stitching and people. And they're just thinking that they're smarter than everyone else because they worship Lucifer, and Lucifer is the truth and all this stuff. It's so silly, but they've kind of, like, completely rejected intuition and instinct and gone into pure logic, which, like I've said before, if you only use logic and not your intuition and instinct, you're a complete tool. You can be convinced of anything. And so, like, they see everything as just, they observe it, and, oh, well, there's this timeline, and, oh, this is all fake, and it's like, because they can't see things from the inside out, they cannot see what I can see. So I'll just leave it at that because I can't go in that rabbit hole forever. But like, I would ask my parents these vital questions, like if the creator was mad that they wanted a king and he said, I'm your king. But they're like, well, we can't see you or touch you or anything, so we want one. And he was furious about that. Well, there's a good reason for that, because again, you can't live from the inside out. Like, these people, none of them wanted to self-regulate. None of them wanted to be accountable for their own actions and their own emotions and their own connection to the earth. And I think that's one reason why, like, it kind of frustrates me that Jesus would say things like, if you're a really bad person, go and kill yourself. Now, no Christian wants to talk about that. It says, he said, if you cause a child to sin. So let's put, what causes a child to sin? The worst sin that you can think of is usually going to be like pedophilia. It's sexually assaulting a child and taking away their innocence. And so he said, it'd be better if you tied a millstone around your neck and jumped in the ocean and killed yourself. And in reality, my parents and some other adults caused that to happen to me. So if they were genuinely Christian, they should have all killed themselves. I'm sorry, but that Christ said it, not me. They should have jumped into an ocean with a millstone and gotten rid of themselves, right? Before they ever allowed anything to happen to me. But what frustrates me is that even though he talked very radical talk for even this day and age, not only are those talks ignored, and they're vaguely gone over very quickly in a sermon, like you should cut your gouge eye out and this and that, and they'll be like, well, he didn't really mean it, he just means da-da-da. Like, no, he effing meant it, okay? Like, don't go there. And what irritates me is, like, Christians really cover up a lot of crime, a lot of sin, a lot of, I'm talking like karmic crime, karmic sin. Like, I'm not meaning just someone that, stole your chapstick or something, okay? I'm talking like men that are abusing their wives and their children and horrific things, and the church covers this up like left and right, like the conservative church that I grew up in. And in reality, it's like, we need to have the authority. We need to take the authority to end that kind of stuff. Like, we're letting way too much corruption go on. We're not doing anything about it in the name of quote-unquote non-violence and being domesticated and being, like, sophisticated or, first world country, which obviously we're not anymore. We're passive. We let corruption infiltrate every aspect of our life. And then we just turn the other cheek, right? But I think the reason why Christ told people to do it to themselves is because at the end of the day, we have to evolve as humans where we take accountability for ourselves, our energy, our authority, what we say no to and what we say yes to, what we take and what we give. And we're not doing that. We're not. And, there's so many things wrong with this modern society. And I really do believe, okay, and if any of you haven't, seen any of my other things, it's like Pluto and Aquarius is going to be the great cleanser. And, all of the ruling class, and not just talking like the top dogs, like our presidents and their hidden R families and things, but even like, say, people in your life who have asserted a lot of dominance and authority. Even like the crazy peanut butter toast lady that's like, what'd you do with October's food stamps? Like, you act like a complete arrogant asshole, and it's like your skeletons are not only in the closet, but they're coming out and dancing in front of us for us all to see. Like, I mean, you can't hide the truth, because Pluto pulls the truth out. And when it was in Capricorn, is so strange, because the ruling class actually does follow astrology to a T. I mean, it was no mistake that Hamas released people the day Pluto went direct. Like, they follow it to a T. And somehow they know. They know their time is up, because they know what happened during the last time Pluto was in Aquarius. They knew the revolutions happened, and they had to kind of go underground for a little while. But they know Capricorn, like when Pluto was in Capricorn, that it was going to pretty much be their peak. And I don't know why they think that, because Pluto just exposes things. It's like they all went so mad and they were so drunk on the wrath of the great creator that they flaunted all of their money and their authority, and they took full advantage of it, right? And now that's in Aquarius, it's like I say, it's like the bounty hunter. It's like Pluto in Aquarius is making the spirit of man hunt down these dogs that they are and put them on trial. And they're afraid. They are. The things that they're doing is not a sign of them being okay. You know, they're terrified and they know they may have to go underground again. I don't know. I mean, I always knew that this would sort of happen my whole life, but it's taken years and years of wisdom through being taught by the mother and the father about what the marriage means, about what we're destined to do and achieve, that made me realize that this is so much bigger, because the age of Aquarius is also dawning. It really is. I know it sounds cheeseball cliche to some of you that don't believe in that, but come on, you're on my channel, okay? So, like, you don't know what you stepped into. Things are changing. I do believe the age of Aquarius is where we take authority of our own living water. Aquarius is the water bearer. It's a very logical air sign, and yet it holds water. We have to take authority for our own ability to achieve chelicity, our own ability to be the Holy Grail ourselves. Hey, Gab? Thanks. Oh, Luffy's such a butthead cat. Grumpy old 1.5-eyed Winky. And he'll put his nose under the door and he sounds like Owen Wilson. Anyway. I don't know. So, like, I don't know. I almost kind of just want to wrap things up because I got to get ready for work in a minute. But I really wanted to put this out. Like, I had done one driving home, and I thought, well, maybe I'll just make it a little bit more clear and just record it here at home and make it a little shorter or something. Because I can get ranty, you know how that goes. It's like, I actually feel like we have the most beautiful life dawning, but that's for those of us who honestly do decide to take accountability. And this is a learning lesson for me too. It's not like I have, like, what I'm teaching you is something I'm having to learn too, because, you know, I've been shown this, but how to actually learn to take our energy back and learn to receive from our mother and our father is hard. And I do think that if we want to have a good future, we have to have the accountability to rid the earth of the virus that is greed. We really do. One way or the other. And I also feel like the end is not the end. You know, people are looking for some great escape, some rapture, or some alien apocalypse or anything. But all of these things come and go. But if you know things from the inside out, yes, the earth is very special. There's so many people that talk about the macro and are like, oh, there's so much out there. We're not very special or unique. There's so much in the micro, too. I had a microbiologist mom. I used to spend a lot of time in microscopes at my grandfather's veterinarian clinic. Like, there's so much tiny worlds that we can't even understand yet. So, if you know things from the inside out, from the Creator being within you, like if you can read the Gita, it's very, very amazing for that. Understand that we are actually responsible for maintaining this balance. We're not in balance right now. People talk about balance all the time. We are not even remotely close to imbalance. Okay, and not just in the 3D physical, but I mean in all the spiritual dimensions too. It's all been hijacked. We've allowed these pieces of shit to completely destroy the balance. And they have no more authority than we do, because the Creator's inside of us too. And as a matter of fact, the Creator is not in most of them because they've disconnected from the Creator. So they're having to feed off of our pain and suffering in order to keep existing. That's how corrupt so many dimensions are right now. And not only do we have to say no to them taking our energy, you have to learn to almost how to be like a reverse vampire and take it back from them. Like when something tries to fuck with you, learn how to take the energy back, like take from them. Learn how to say no. Learn how to transmute their shit and send it to Mother for extra energy. I don't know, anything but letting them take from you. But I don't think that the great creator has any intention of truly destroying this place. And what I mean by that is, even when it talks about a new heaven and a new earth, that is when we have the realization of how to maintain the balance. The 3D is here for a reason. It is so that we can evolve our spirits and so that we can learn and grow. But because there is no balance, we're just suffering more than we are growing or evolving. There's way too many people that are causing way too much pain for other people, because hurting people hurt people. I have had so many people in my life do so many horrifying things to me. And when I worked in social services, I saw the same thing happening. And I've had so many horrifying things happen. I've seen so many horrifying things happen that when people say evil doesn't exist, it's like, your privilege is showing. Like, you've never had a life, have you? You've been coddled your whole fucking life. Because evil certainly exists. And what's so sad is, like, you know that most of the people that have hurt you are on such a destructive path, they may literally cease to exist. I mean, there's going to be a moment where there's no coming back, where you've so disconnected from your creator and your mother that there is nothing left for you. You will fade away and cease to exist. And that's sad. And yet I don't want to pray for them. I hear people saying you should pray for them. I don't want to. Not the ones that did the most corrupt things, because they knew what they were doing. They knew. They knew. But deep down, they still wanted to take more than do what was right. And, but there are a lot of people that do corrupt things and they don't know what they do. And it's like, we have to get this place in alignment so that we can let this earth be what it was meant to be in this beautiful marriage of the 3D and the spiritual realms. And we can walk in between worlds. I mean, there's so many dimensions that will crisscross with the 3D, and it's beautiful, but it doesn't mean that this place is less valuable. And this place is such an amazing, I don't know how to explain it. I used to not really see how it was a place for us to learn or evolve, but yeah, I do, because it's almost like the gravity itself, the very basis of having to be here and learn how to take authority of your own energy is a lesson. Oh, I think I know what I was going to get at. It's almost like, imagine the great creator released you outside of time and space. You're created and you're just released. And you have no, bearings. You have no gravity. You have no context. Like, what are you? What do you do with that? Would you be lost? Would you just bounce off for eons? Maybe, probably so. That's probably what we did, right? So we come here and there's context and there's foundations and there's life and there's order, and it gives us the opportunity to evolve of who we are, what we love, what we want, what matters to us. And it's amazing because we may not come back for a million lifetimes, but you'll eventually know yourself well enough that you know what you want to evolve to in the next life. When I pass on, I want to be a guardian spirit that protects the earth still. I want to be, how we feel that there's ancestral beings that take care of us, and we wonder, how did that car accident not happen? How did I not hit that little animal in the road? Or, how did that save me just now? That's what I want to be. I actually want to evolve to the point where I'm a guardian spirit in nature and I watch over every little thing that I can and save it forever. That's what I want. And so I'm not afraid of death, but I'm also not wanting to just, escape. So many people have this idea of floating off to some heaven somewhere where there's no pain and suffering, and you just, have, I don't know, a permanent vacation. And I just okay, whatever. I mean, that whatever floats your boat, YOLO, you do you, boo. But I believe, because this place is so beautiful and so sacred and I love it so much, I honestly do believe if we did our job as humans, we would actually be able to help all life evolve. Some things are more evolved than us. There's plants and trees and things that know more than we do. They're amazing. But some animals are so innocent and so precious, and they're so not aware of dangers and things. And, now I'm not saying domesticate them, but I mean, we have the ability to teach nature as much as it has the ability to teach us. And we can evolve this planet into something that is so, I don't want to say utopia. I don't want to say I'm just shitting rainbows out my ass, okay? But what I am saying is that, like, when we achieve balance, we learn from each other so much that it is almost like heaven on earth. It really is. I mean, the kingdom is within us, but the marriage of heaven and earth has always been here. It's here right now. Always will be. It's outside of time and space. And we are fucking that shit up. We are the nasty guys that come in not dressed nice and not being respectful, and we're going to get kicked out. Okay, I got to wrap things up, so I got to get ready for work. But I dare you and I challenge you to start seeing things from this perspective and learn how to take authority and power over your own energy first. And then we need to look for opportunities to actually physically get together and rise up against the ruling class and to say no. And that's not violent. It's not treason. They're treason. You know, they've been treasonous for a very long time. We need to start getting our priorities straight, having community gardens, living together, like where we can, if we can band together, it doesn't cost so much, you know. If people like have enough land where they actually let many people live on it, it shouldn't be illegal for people to have to tent out there. I mean, during World War II, my grandmother's family did tourist courts, and it wasn't like what you see when you Google it. I mean, people had tents and sheds and shacks and makeshift shelters all on their property so that they could survive, because things were that hard and they were on rations, and it may get that bad. And when it gets that bad, the government's really not going to say too much about that. And the laws, they don't have the manpower to do it. So, you know, we need to find ways to get together to help each other. I'm saying this as a very, very isolated hermit introvert who has been hurt so much that I know how many crazy meth heads are out there and they terrify me. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all next time.